What's up, Camp Broadside? I'm your host, Troy Mosby. Hey, you know how it is when you got to run into Cabela's or Bass Pro, heck, even Walmart. You just got to grab that one quick thing. It's a quick in and out. And then you run into somebody, and next thing you know, you're talking deer hunting, turkey hunting, whatever kind of hunting. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's exactly how I met my next guest, Mr. Quinn Bieberly. I had to run into Cabela's, and he happened to be there. And next thing you know, we got to yakking, and he showed me some pictures of some bucks he put down, and I was like, man, I really got to get you on this podcast and hear the story of these deer. So tonight, we're honored to have him join us. So please help me give a big old Camp Broadside welcome to Mr. Quinn Bieberly.
Troy's talking about the 10-point miss. Swears it was close, but it don't sound like it. Brandon's grinning, bragging about his dope. Bartlett's spiked, well, we all know it's blood trails and bucktails. Round the fire where the whiskey sails. Every heart's a story, every shot's a chance. What's your story to tell? What's your...
I'm telling you, that shit was the craziest thing I ever seen.
Quinn Bieberly.
Hi, Troy. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Hey, appreciate you coming on. Always means a lot to me when I get people to come on, especially weird story. So I'd bought some new vanes. I was out at Cabela's, and I'd picked up a few packs. Well, one of them was a different size than what I was actually looking for, and so I had to go back. Well, I went back. Then while I was there, I started looking at this little turkey chair that you sit on the ground. Wasn't actually a chair. It was just kind of a stool type
kinda,
deal.
Yeah.
And I looked over, and old Quinn here, he was looking at the same one at the same time. And so I was like, well, hey, what do you think of that? You know, and we just kind of started talking. And then I think I mentioned Broadside Camo to you. And
It rang a bell. Yeah.
And we started talking some deer stories and whatnot. And Quinn showed me a few of the bucks he's put down in the past few years. And so I was like, wow, dude, man. I said, why don't you come on over to the podcast and we'll talk about a couple of these deer. So here we are today, man.
And I said, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome, man. So it was definitely worth the trip. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And to come to find out, we're neighbors pretty much.
Yeah. We live very close to each other.
That's insane.
Would have never guessed.
Yeah, so cool, man. But so that's how I met Quinn. Why don't you, if you want, man, just tell everybody kind of who you are, how you got into hunting, you know, when did it start for you, and then we'll just go from there, brother, if that sounds good.
Absolutely. My name's Quinn Bieberly. I'm 24 years old, and I've been hunting and fishing ever as long as I can remember. Both my grandfathers on both sides of my family, they both hunted, and my grandfather on my dad's side of the family, he was a board member for UBM. It's United Bowhunters of Missouri.
Oh, wow.
He hunted with a traditional recurve bow, long bow, all of those.
That was your grandpa?
Yeah, my great grandpa.
Oh.
Yeah. He called compounds gadgetry.
Yeah.
and he called mechanical broadheads gadgetry. Yeah.
Hey, now isn't it funny because people that shoot compounds, they'll kind of talk crap on the people that shoot crossbows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the people that shoot recurves, they look at the compound shooters like, hey, who you to talk crap? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Using your gadgetry. I like that word. Yeah.
He was all about fixed point blades, and that's kind of what he taught my father, and kind of what my dad taught me. He taught me, you know, being still. I learned how to hunt on the ground really well at a young age. I use fixed blades as well. I know that's a big debated thing in archery, but I do hunt with a compound bow and plan on picking up a recurve and a long bow in the future as well.
Nice, yeah.
So there's that. I am from outside of Kansas City, Missouri, in Parkville, and hunt mostly up north on Missouri public land up north. Have a couple good stories from there. I hunt both public and private land. So kind of seasonal in both ways. I have cameras on private land that I'm watching, and then I'm also spending time on public land because I like the challenge as well.
Yeah. It is definitely a challenge. And we kind of talked about that, the difference between obviously private land and public land and what you have to deal with. But then you throw in the mix, you also got urban hunting, and that's a whole nother ball of worms. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and they all have their own little difficulties to them and whatnot. But
Yeah. There's a niche for each of them, of course.
yeah,
Yes.
and I think there's a place for. I like that when somebody has all of them in their arsenal, it's like, yeah, I do a lot of private land hunting. I do a lot of urban hunting. Every year I get more and more to public hunting just because I have so much respect for those guys that do the public hunting. And
It's hard.
yeah, and I've never killed a good buck on public land with my bow. I've done it with my rifle,
Yeah.
but never my bow. So I do have that goal, but it's hard to when you have private land. It's hard to go, okay, well, I'm gonna go hunt public. So
Yeah.
I got to force myself to do it, but I do it several times a year.
Yeah.
Up until we start getting taken over by some of the outer staters and stuff, and then I go back to my private spot.
That is a thing. Luckily, Missouri is starting its efforts against that right now. Luckily, if you've checked the news, but yeah,
it's in
luckily.
big discussions right now what they're going to do. I've heard everything from they're going to raise the prices, make it a draw state, make it a $1 deal if you're from out of state, and I don't think I don't personally care if people come hunt from any other state. I would also go hunt another state if given the opportunity, and anytime I'm given the opportunity, I'll do it. So I don't get upset about it by no means, but I think Missouri is a good enough state that we should have some of the same criteria for out-of-staters, like these big deer hunting states like Kansas, Iowa, and stuff. How they have it, I think we're in competition with them guys, so we should be right along the same lines.
Absolutely, we should be playing the same ball game as them with the regulations, and if we did, I think in 2 seasons, you'd see a lot of 180-inch deer getting shot in Missouri. It'd be more of a normal thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's true, but
yeah. So let's what kind of deer? Well, let's talk about your hunting. Now you do all right. You do a bow, you do crossbow, you do rifle.
Yeah. So crossbow. I'll get into this real quick. It really wasn't by choice. I got injured weightlifting, I think 2 years ago. And so that injury, it gave me a pinched nerve in my neck to where I can't really pull back my bow. And I'm left-handed, shoot a Matthews, always have, and just can't pull back my bow. Physical therapist is saying, don't try, don't lift weights, don't do any of that. So I've been, on and off with different chiropractors trying to find out what'll work to get back in health to pull back a bow.
Yeah.
And so, you never think it'll happen to you. It was, bow hunting's my dream. I'd rather only bow hunt than rifle hunt. But if you're in Missouri, you kind of have to take up that rifle a little bit. It's Christmas Day is opening day, And so, luckily I had a great friend.
Wait. Christmas Day is opening day.
Oh, I guess.
Oh, you're saying opening day is like Christmas Day.
Opening day of rifle season in Missouri. I'm saying that's kind of like Christmas.
Yeah, got you. I was like, wait, you're missing out, bro.
Yeah, because it's in the middle of the rut and you're going out with the centerfire rifle, so it's kind of too good to be true. But
yeah, for sure.
Double-edged sword, of course, with how it hurts the population. But anyway,
Now, how do you feel about because you know how in Missouri you can shoot $1 before rifle season, and $1 either during rifle or afterwards. What are your thoughts on that? How do you like that? Do you agree with that? Do you think you should be able to shoot $2 at any point during the season if you're given the opportunity?
I think it's good. They spread that a little bit to where if you shoot a buck opening day of bow season, you gotta wait a little bit. I think the one thing they should do is, get the rifle season out of November and push it back into December. That's what Iowa and Kansas do. And
I like that idea.
That saves 2.5 and 3.5-year-old bucks that like to run a lot. And those are the ones that get shot. And if they're making it, they're getting to 4 and 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think they need to push it back to, it wouldn't break my heart at all, push it back to the December. Now, I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, I think you should be able to shoot, if you got 2 buck tags and I shoot a buck today and then tomorrow massive hammer walks out, I want to be able to shoot him too.
That's true.
But
that's true. Yeah.
It does keep me, because at that, if I shot 2 nice bucks, we'll just say opening day and the next day.
Yeah.
Now I've kind of lost that thrill of the hunt for the rest of the year, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm like, I'm glad they spread it out because then that keeps that excitement going. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I kill a lot of does. I like I like to have does in my freezer for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and so I still find ways to hunt, obviously, because I'm going after does. But
Absolutely.
so I go back and forth on it. Sometimes I wish they would just. I guess
Mm-hmm.
when I have them lucky days when I'm like, man, if I could use my buck tag right now,
Yeah.
then I want
Yeah.
it then. But
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I do agree, shooting does for meat and letting the 2.5-year-old bucks walk.
Yeah.
They taste a little better too. I think
Yeah.
does do.
yeah,
Yeah.
my wife does daycare, and
Mm-hmm.
she's done it for 15 years, I think. And
Gotcha.
so
Gotcha.
all these kids in a lot of families, she's had one child and then got their next
Yeah.
child and then got their next
Mhm.
child. So we have some time with some of these families that she does daycare for. And I've always taken pride because I fill the freezers up with deer meat. Well, when the kids are here, that's mostly what they eat is deer meat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I love that because there's no steroids in it, no hormones in it. I mean,
Yep.
it's the cleanest meat you can
Mm-hmm.
get on the table for that child. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I like that. So I try to get at least 3 does a year. My goal is always 3 does and 2 bucks. It
Yep.
don't always work out like
Yeah,
that.
not
but
always. Yeah.
That's always the goal.
$2. Yep. I was lucky enough to shoot both my bucks for the first time this year.
Oh,
in
nice,
Missouri.
man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Luckily. But so it was a dream season for sure.
Yeah.
I shot my first on November 2nd on public land, and then shot my rifle buck on private land the very last day of season in the very last 10 minutes of legal shooting light.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
That
Rattled.
come right down to the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
did it?
I rattled right in those last 10 minutes and been sitting all those days, and lo and behold, here he comes
Here he
right
comes.
over the hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was cool.
And I know, like I
Yeah.
said, you've showed me several bucks when we were at Cabela's and whatnot, and
Yeah.
some nice ones, man. And I know there was a couple you said you'd like to talk about. So if you want to lead us off into one of those stories, and we'll just go from there, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, November 2nd of this year, this is one of the bucks I want to talk about. This was public land, and this was, I think it was a 5-day vacation I had for myself to hunt October 31st through November 4th. Those were the days I picked. And so let's see here. Starting day 1, October 31st, I had been hunting a big timber tract on this public, and was trying to find where the bedding is, just trying to learn about it, where they're moving in and out. There's some private nearby. Are they bedding on the private and coming over? Or are they bedding there and going to the private? What are they doing? Kind of got to sit there to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like a good 2.5 mile walk to get in there cleanly.
Oh,
So a lot of people don't hunt there until rifle season. A lot of people don't push in there yet. And I think I hunted one spot the day before this hunt, but I didn't see much that first day. So this would have been the second day of the hunt. I went in for an all-day sit. This would have been November 1st. And I went in on the ground, light, just went in on the ground, staying mobile. Found the spot I was going to and just saw a tank. Just saw a monster.
so you just seen him? Is this the one you shot? Or
No, this is
seen
one
him.
that lit some fire. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was one of the biggest public land bucks I've seen.
No
He
kidding.
came over this cliff. I was hunting in big bluffs kind of. He came over this cliff, and he was kind of like had his head up like a mule deer and kind of was doing this with his paws, like, stair stepping up a little bit like you see a mule deer do. And he I was hunting in the bottom of a creek bed in like a river bottom almost, but that went up to a lake.
You were sitting on the ground, or
Yep, on the ground, brushed in. And since I'm injured, I had hunted with a crossbow that a buddy let me borrow, luckily. And so, you can do a little bit more ground hunting with a crossbow than you can a bow. And got sat there, and I just thought I'd bring this deer up just because he was so huge.
Yeah.
I grunted at him, but he was.
How far away was he when you seen him?
Oh, he came in. I think when I ranged him, he was 62 with brush in the way, and so the crossbow I was shooting, I had only shot it up to about 40 yards, and that's really all I was wanting to shoot at it with. And so kind of, grunted at him. He didn't hear me, kept going. But the whole rest of the day, I sat, ended up grunting in one buck up close and passed on him. Anyway, that day concludes, and I knew I'm going to go back in that same spot the next day.
You got to fire for it now.
Yeah, I knew I got to get back in there. Well,
there ain't nothing like seeing when you're surprised with that big old hammer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, oh my goodness, dude.
I was around this tree, and something just told me to look behind me. And when I looked, I just instantly moved and got further up behind the tree, like made me check myself, like, oh no. Like, yeah.
This guy's a hammer.
Yeah, completely, charcoal gray. Had to be over 250 pounds.
Woo,
and
man, he was a tank for sure.
Yeah, northern Mo giant for sure. Yeah. But he slipped by, and nightfall came, went back to sleep, and what I didn't realize is the next day was daylight savings.
Oh, wow.
I woke up late.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I've got that 2.5 mile walk in. And so.
Now, did you stay there at the public place?
Yeah, I was at the public. Just kind of went and slept in the campground there, and pretty much woke up late. Woke up to it being light outside, and knew I had messed up. This is November 2nd. And so I was like, well, I'm just not going to go back in that timber track. And one of my buddies I know, he's with Tactical Approach Outdoors, and you can look them up. If you're looking for some private land to hunt in Kansas, you can hit them up. They do outfitting. And but one of my buddies told me about a very overlooked spot that was very close to this campground, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's all you want to say?
Yeah.
You don't have no grid coordinates?
But it's in between private, a road, and then a no hunting zone. And so there's a lot of times there's stands set in there. It's close to the road, so someone that doesn't want to go far, they end up hunting it. Well, it's a little bit better of a spot than what you may think. It's got really tall grass in there, and I don't know if it's planted, if it's CRP, but it gives the deer some security when they're moving from the private across the road, across this field into more timber, which then leads into a big no hunting zone. And so right at first light and last light, deer will make this run across this road and be, there's I guess the road, and then a little timber strip, and then field, and then in the corner there's more timber, and then you're at the no hunting zone. And so I had a south wind, and where I had been hunting November 1st, that first day, south wind wasn't going to do. So believe it or not, this spot that happened to be just a couple minutes up the road from me being late waking up, I decided I'm going to go there.
That's the spot your buddy told you about.
Yeah. I didn't even really in my mind think I'm going to go there. It just was an idea, but I was like, well, I'm late, so I better go somewhere close. Yeah. So I go in there, and it's light, and I spook a couple does walking in. Well, shoot, get in there, walk all the way around to the backside, and get downwind, get on the downwind side of this timber, and I'm there 2 minutes, and I just hear rustling and then grunting, and I look as far down into the no hunting zone as I can see. I'm probably a good 100 yards from this no hunting zone, but I can still see way down in there, kind of, because I'm on elevation. Mm-hmm. And he's just chasing a doe, and it's a 150. Nice. It's a big one. And so I get low. I've got a ghillie suit on. Well, no, wait a minute. I take that back. I usually do hunt with a ghillie suit, but this was November 2nd, so I had orange on because it was youth rifle that day.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I was kind of wary about that orange. I didn't know, okay, well, I got to be super still. And pretty much that doe leads him probably 60 yards from me. And he was about to be out of the way. You know, he's going to be gone. And I get down on my hands and knees and start army crawling to him. Believe it or
No
not,
kidding.
I had just enough trees.
How far was he when you started army crawling?
About 60.
60.
Yeah. He was held up with this doe, and she just wasn't moving. It was super quiet. He was standing there. This is right at gray light. He was looking the other way, and I just crept up to 40 yards and got up to him, ranged him. He was like 43 yards. I get up on him, and then he walks just a little bit, and there's this sapling right in front of his shoulder. Right in front of his shoulder. I'm like, okay, well, I've got his lungs to shoot at, but I'm going to hold tight to his pit here. And I did, and I hit the sapling square on.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he was a big one, too.
Dang.
And so the doe's blowing, he bolts. They're both blowing and running, and I'm itching my head. I don't know what to think about it. I think, okay, I'm going to get my grunt call out, and I'm just going to start hitting it, distracted with something else. And when I did that, I called in another buck.
Holy crap.
Out of the no hunting zone.
Dang.
Yeah, coming right up to me. But since I had walked that 20 yards, he had enough room to get downwind, and he did.
Oh, no.
So now I just really don't know what to think about myself. Didn't think I was going to ever get another shot there again. And so,
isn't that just so discouraging?
Oh,
when that
man.
happens? You're just like, no.
Yeah. You just can't make it up.
My oldest son, Brandon, he nailed it this year. He told me, he said, the one thing I didn't know about bow hunting, because this was his actual first complete full season. He went all in.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that one thing I didn't realize is what a roller coaster it is.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, oh man, it's got those high highs where you're on top of the world, and it's got the low lows where you want to throw your bow. You don't ever want to hunt again, you know.
Lowest to lows, and when it all comes together, that's what makes it all that much better. Is from the failures that when you finally win.
For sure, you nailed that right there.
Mm-hmm. And so, let's see here. This happens, and at this point, I think it's like 8:20 a.m. It's still early. And I sit there another, until probably 9:45, 10, and it's just quiet. Sun comes out. For some reason, I just felt like I shouldn't be there anymore. I felt like I messed it all up. So I'm hunting on the ground, so it's really easy to just move real quick. And so I'm in this south side corner, and I decide I'm going to get to that pinch that's kind of closer to the road, and I'm going to sit there for a bit. And so I get up and I walk all the way around and I go there and I sit down. And it's not 5 minutes later, I've got a doe walk up to me at about 5 yards.
Dang.
From behind me, from the direction I had just left.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. And there's just
And how far did you say you moved?
Oh, I just moved. It would have been 100 yards distance.
100 yards?
100 yards distance. That's it. And so I'm sitting there, and then I see another doe coming from the same direction as well. And then I sat there another 20 minutes and didn't see anything. I just knew, I can't believe this, but I'm going to get back up and walk to the same spot I was just at.
You just left.
Yeah, that I had just left.
Okay.
Because those does had came from there. And so I was like, I'm in the wrong spot. I should have stayed there in the first place. And so I once again get up and walk in broad daylight all the way around downwind to get down to this spot. And where I was is there was a creek just to the right of me, and there's this big tree with the roots like that were visible, like erosion had made all the soil go away to where you could see the root system. And so I had a chair, this little turkey chair down low in this. And so really only my head was showing. And I go and I get to the same spot, and I'm sitting there maybe 30 more minutes. I think it's probably about 10:30 at this time. And for my offside, my left side offside behind me, I don't know if I heard a twig break or what it was, but I looked behind me, and there's a doe right there, 20 yards, and then about 10, 15 yards behind her was this buck.
Ooh.
And he had really long main beams, kind of short tines, but he's a 10-pointer. couldn't really tell how old he was, but it was too fast. He's
Yeah.
she's coming in, he's coming in behind her, and I'm caught with the wrong direction. I've got to turn to get a shot at him, and so I'm frozen, and I just stop looking at the doe. But I vividly remember being right here like this and seeing her tail flick as she was just
Right by you.
right by me. Like it could have been 3 yards.
Yeah.
And I was, dead still. No way she could have seen me. I'm surprised they didn't smell me, but she was getting chased, so maybe they didn't worry about it. But she goes down the creek, and the whole time I'm looking at the buck, trying to see if I want to shoot him or not. And then when he turns and starts running at me, I kind of decide I'm going to shoot him then. And to turn and shoot him, I put my right foot down in those roots and just kind of turn my body a little bit. And he didn't see me because he was distracted by that doe.
Yep.
He was looking at the doe the whole time, and he just kept getting closer and closer and closer in the scope. And I used fixed blades, stingers, put it right here on the tip of his shoulder, plugged him. He ran 10 yards and fell over dead.
Nice, dude.
And that's how it went. Yeah. So, got up from that spot and then came back to it. If I was hunting with a stand, I probably wouldn't have had that gumption to do that much moving.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
But if you was in a stand, well, probably your stand would have been on the other property.
Yeah.
First of all. But if you did move it over here, you would have stayed in that spot
I would have
originally,
stayed there.
probably.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've talked to several people lately, and they're hunting on the ground, and I'm always like, I think that's so cool, man.
It's
It's
cool.
one thing to be up in a tree, 20 feet in a tree, and you get that intimate connection with that deer, and he comes in and he's 15 yards, 20 yards, and he looks like a horse standing there.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine what it's like standing on the ground, a deer 10, 15 yards from you, and you're fixing to smoke him. Man.
Yeah,
That's a heck of an adrenaline rush.
Absolutely. And there's also all the ones that got close.
Man, you had a hell of a morning, bro, for waking up late.
Yeah. Woke up late.
I mean, you
still worked out.
What?
3
Three
shooters.
shooter bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2, 3, 4 doe.
Couple hot does in there at the same time. It was but it was cattle pasture land that's across that road, and there's just this big timber draw, and that's guys with Tactical Approach Outdoors, they've taken a few bucks from this spot in past years too, and usually at that right time of year, they when bucks start making their circle, that's in their circle, it's that spot right there. It's right in between the no hunting zone where no one is walking and where all the deer are getting pushed, and then right next to private.
Yeah.
And so
that's got to be a good spot.
You wouldn't pick it up on a map.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so low key and we ain't talking about it.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
Mm-hmm. It's a secret for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we can get him to talk about it later. Whatever. I'm just playing. So he ended up, what was he, a 10 point? Is that what you said?
He was a 10-pointer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a 10. I haven't put a tape on him yet. Haven't put a tape on any of my deer yet, but I will at some point. Just haven't got around to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been one and maybe it's because I haven't shot that monster buck. I mean, these are definitely good bucks, but
yeah.
I've just never been like, man, I want to know what they score. I mean, I've kind of been curious,
Mm-hmm.
and like I think I told you earlier, we were at the Show Me Whitetails, and they were scoring deer, and so I was like, all right, I'll take a couple out, check it out. And,
absolutely, it's worth it.
Yeah. So then it was like, okay, did I really want to know?
Yeah. I usually, if I'm on public, I'm looking for a strength of some kind. I'm looking for either age. Maybe he doesn't have very much for a rack, but maybe he's 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I would shoot that deer. Maybe he's got a lot of tine length. Maybe he's got long main beams. Maybe he's got a lot of mass. If they've got any one of those 3 categories, I'm probably grabbing my bow.
Yeah.
Usually.
I like unique. I mean, if I see something like this guy here, when he came in, I'd never seen a split main beam in person like that. And that's all it took. I was like, oh, I'm taking him. You know what I mean?
It's like a unicorn.
Yeah, I love unique. I talked to Greg Staggs. here a few weeks ago, and he shot a buck that he called the wonky buck, and it had a nice. I think it's the left side was pretty nice, normal rack. Had the curved main beam.
Yeah.
But the right side was like a dagger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't a very big buck. I mean, I think he said like it was probably 120s, 130 maybe.
He's old.
But he said that it was running off all the deer on his property. He watched it. He watched it run off a buck off a scrape that he had made.
Yep.
And he thinks the reason that deer was able to run off these bigger bucks is because that one side was like a dagger. So if they got into a fight, that dagger was going to poke him right between the eyes. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't messing with him. So I was like, so he kind of had that need. He needed to get him out of there.
Yeah,
but
he was a bully buck.
I said I'd have shot him in a heartbeat just because he was so unique. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So,
Yeah. Sometimes, like if a buck's 250 pounds and scores 120, and then, there's a buck that's, maybe 100 or 200 pounds, but he's 160 inches, there's that might be, you want to shoot the 250 pounder so he doesn't run off the booner.
I like big deer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
all that meat. So that was that day. And like I said, so what happened next? Did you
with that
somebody
deer,
come and help you drag him out, or
that one I knew it was one I was gonna do a Euro with, so I went ahead and just quartered him out on the ground and took him out on my back. Took a bunch of pictures of him first, of course, but it was 60 degrees that day, like 65 degrees. I had to get on him quick, and luckily I had coolers with ice ready.
Nice.
So that's what I did with him. And
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So you made a Euro out of him?
Yeah.
Nice.
I did. Yeah. Yeah. Got him. I got a few that I have shoulder mounts and a few that are Euros. It kind of depends on when I shoot them and, hold them, kind of decide then what I want to do with them.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
But
so that buck was this past season.
That was this past season.
Did you shoot? You shot another one this past season as well.
I
right?
did shoot another one this past season.
Was it after that one?
That was after that one.
What happened with it? Because it was like within a day or two, wasn't it?
That was this one was November 25th, very last day of rifle season.
Oh, so it was a few days later.
Yeah,
a couple weeks later.
Yeah, a couple weeks later.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the grind continued for a while after work and stuff. But
was you hunting regularly during that time? And
I think I had requested off work a couple days. I think since I shot that buck on November 2nd, my boss let me work have a couple days off later on since I could come back to work after I shot that buck on November 2nd. So I had a couple more days for that rifle season. And so I usually hunt public land opening day of rifle because it's actually really good on Missouri public land is on opening day of rifle. The second day, it's pretty hit or miss because it's gotten hit so hard that first day. But with all the out-of-staters and all those people hitting, so concentrated in one spot, it's not really like, like it's October 29th, it's kind of like a huge deer drive, really. Like there's a lot of human scent in the woods, a lot of pushing happening. There's deer running everywhere. So it's really just luck. You could have, a giant come running right up on top of you that got spooked from a guy field dressing his deer.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
That's what it is.
I know exactly what that's like. I told you I shot a nice buck on public with my rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me and my stepdad had been bow hunting this conservation area up north, and we'd hunted it. I said we'd been hunting it. We'd hunted it 2 or 3 times. Seen some good deer. We were really excited about that place, and we hunted all around it. We were the only ones there. We never seen another vehicle,
Wow.
So we're like, this is great. Well, I rifle hunted back then.
Yeah.
So it was coming up on rifle season, and we was like, well, why don't we just go hunt that spot? I mean, there's nobody hunting there, So we left our stands up where we were hunting and whatnot, and I'll never forget it, dude. It was like probably an hour and a half away, maybe 2 hours away.
Yeah.
And we started, it was a long gravel road that got you to the parking spot. And we started down that road. It was probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when we rounded this corner to the actual parking lot, it looked like an RV. It looked like a RV camp lot. I mean, there was RVs and tents and crap everywhere. We're like,
everywhere. Yeah.
we should have known better.
They showed up.
But we didn't. We were like, oh no, now what are we going to do, man?
Yeah.
And so it was too late really to go anywhere else. So we were like, screw it. We're going in, get in our stands now. We'll get in before everybody else. And at least we'll have our spots and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm totally disappointed. You know, it's one of those roller coasters, and I did it to myself, so I can only blame myself. But I'm all excited on the way there. We're about to mow down some deer. You know, turns out there's 600 people there too.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, so we did. We get out, get ready, and we head to the woods. I get to my stand. It's probably 4:30, 4:45. Get up in my stand. I start hearing, later on, I start hearing all these people walking through the woods, and all these people go by me. I can see the orange and whatnot. And I'm just like, man, I ain't going to see nothing. Yeah. I'm so disappointed. So then I sat there all morning. I'd made up my mind. I wasn't moving till dark that evening. I'm not getting out of this tree. I'm not doing nothing. Kind of part of it was kind of because I was like just mad at myself. You know, we should have definitely been somewhere else hunting. So you could tell I was getting close to lunchtime because everybody started coming out of the woods. So I watched all the orange go by me, and I'm like, gosh, dang it, man. So about an hour goes by, and I can start hearing voices again, like they're starting to move back into the woods. And so I'm like, well, here they come. And about that time, I look, and here comes this buck just running.
Oh,
and
man.
I'm like, holy crap, man. I grab my rifle. And he's full dead running, and I just put the bead on him and pop.
Bam.
Watched him roll, and I was
rolled.
like, yeah. And all of a sudden I heard, did you get him? Somebody was real close to me, and I go, hell yeah, I got him, man. I was so excited, dude, because, like that roller coaster we were talking about, I was at the low, like, dang, I ain't going to see nothing. I just shot the biggest buck of my life at this point, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so it turned out to be a great day, you know what I mean? But
you never know,
I learned real quick about that hunting that public land. You better be ready when it comes to rifle season and whatnot. There's a lot of people hunting.
A lot of people from everywhere all in there too. Yeah. But opening day of rifle, I've got a story for that one. That's a story of how I killed the biggest one in my life. This was November 14th of 2020, opening day of rifle. Northern Missouri. I was in a hunting camp, and one of the older guys in that camp told me about a road that he said only the Amish know about. He said it doesn't even show up on X, but it's right up next to this private property, but there's another road right next to it that's technically on the public side of the fence. And if you take that and drive it up and go a little bit to the left, there's another parking lot in there that doesn't show up on X as much. So he showed me where it was, and how old was I? Would have had to have been, I was 18, 19, and drove down that road on this public piece. Most public land in Missouri, you're not allowed to camp like in the parking lot.
Yeah,
you have to go to like the designated campground next to it. But on this piece, you can go sleep in the parking lot during the opening weekend of rifle season. Then, and the reason for that is because the campgrounds are too full, and so literally the parking lots for access spots on this piece are just full of people and RVs. So and there used to be good hunting, close to even close to the parking lot, but not during this time.
No.
Yeah. And so I drove there and just slept in my car real quick, and woke up to the sound of a horse neighing and like the clackles of a horse, and I knew someone beat me to the spot with waking up, and so I see the lantern, and I knew he was Amish and all that, and
he had his horse and buggy.
Yeah, horse and buggy, and in a flintlock too. Yeah,
wow.
Black powder, whole shebang. Yeah, and like cap and ball. Yeah, And I just got dressed and just kind of made it on the trail before he did. Just kind of started walking first. I guess he took a minute to get his stuff together, but
So he basically did he park right there? Where you park his horse right there?
yeah, right next to me. Yeah, I woke up to
That's a
it.
trip to see, isn't
Yeah,
it?
this is it's like, and it got me up and going earlier than what it was at like 4 a.m. when I woke up. So I woke up a good 30 minutes or something earlier. So I got a better of a head start than what I thought. And so I'm going in blind in the dark. Just looked at a couple of spots on OnX and this timber track and looked at it, trying to find, there's this big kind of like drainage where it's a creek at the bottom and there's this deep ridge. And then that makes like another big ridge on the other side, of course. And then there's these ditches that go up that ridge and it gets super thick in those ditches. Like different trees are growing. There's some hedge apples and it creates almost like a canopy, and they like to bed in those ditches and in the early morning go to the top of the ridge and eat acorns and stuff. And so I kind of picked one of those out and just decided I was going to go in there really slow and hope I had some moonlight to see if I could see openings enough for rifle shots. And so, it took a while going through a lot of brush, had no idea where I was walking, and it ended up, I remember it was very pitch black. I couldn't see very well. So I just kind of waited until I could see a little bit, going super slow, just looking for openings right around this ditch that I kind of wanted to be around, and found myself a tree and a good opening where I could see probably 80 yards in front of me, and sat down. Wasn't 5 minutes later, I had a spike come right up to me and just stare at me. And so I kind of waved him off and
Shoot
yeah,
fly.
he ran off, and I think 30 minutes went by, and so it was 7:30. I look up, and I guess I saw a 2.5-year-old probably 10 minutes before that, but 7:30, I look up and saw a doe walking right at me, acting funny. Got her tail going, flickering in between her legs, all sorts of stuff going on. I knew she's hot.
Yeah.
And so she kind of is walking right at me and just takes a cut like that and just kind of goes off to the left of me a little bit. And I've got my back to a tree stump. That's all I'm doing right now. And I'm just kind of looking that direction, just looking. And time goes by. I kind of forgot about it a little bit. And then, I was still watching that area though, and I just see these bigger hooves that are wider from each other than a doe was. And so that made me grab my gun. And then I saw his tines, and then he was walking right towards me and then took a left. And I had a spot about like that in between two trees, and I poked it right through there.
Yeah.
And it was just a 243 I shot him with. Yeah, I shoot a 30-06 now, but it was a 243 then, and he just, it's a light bullet.
Yep.
So, I hit him, not in the shoulder, but through the ribs. So he just jumped straight up and just took off running. So I didn't know. And it was wet that morning.
Oh, no.
It's wet that morning. Yeah, I heard no crash. I have all these thoughts going on. What happened? I was waiting for that big crash, like I slammed him, but I knew I wasn't near the shoulder. It was definitely through the ribs, which means I got lung, but bullet didn't expand as much.
Yeah.
So I sat there for 2 hours on pins and needles, and I knew what I had shot. I knew he was big. Get up. Start looking.
Well, that's a long sit. When you're waiting, there ain't nothing like that. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And this is opening morning. So I was like, I think I was the very first shot that cracked off that morning. Yeah. And it turned into World War III after that.
Yeah.
Yes. It was like, you could hear shots on private land, on the public land. You could hear the deer drives. It was just, I just got lucky going in there on that ridge with the hot doe, But pretty much after those 2 hours, I decided I was going to give it 2 hours and got up and started looking for blood and couldn't find blood. Oh, no.
That's a bad feeling in the gut.
Start the grid search, cross-hatching, going back and forth. And, I guess he was just a good 40 yards further than what I thought, because then I kept walking a little further and I just started finding piles of blood.
Oh, yeah.
Knew I got him, lung butter, bubbles in the blood, everything. And I just look up and there he is.
Dang.
Yeah.
Now, how far was it that he went from where you shot him?
Probably like 50 yards.
Oh, so he didn't go far at all.
Kind of in the thicket a little bit. Yeah. And I knew he was big. I didn't know exactly what he was until I walked right up to him and really looked at him close, and it was
What
my
a
jaw
feeling
dropped.
then, huh?
Yeah, haven't put a tape on him, but he's a typical mainframe 12-point with a flyer and a kicker, and that kicker's an inch, and that flyer is probably 2.5 inches coming off his G3, and so he's something else. He's my favorite one.
Dude.
He's the kind you want to get. Yeah.
Is that you say that's your most favorite buck you've killed?
That's
your favorite deer?
Yeah, it's probably my best one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I look at him every day. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys look at him every day. Like
Yeah.
I said, that's probably my biggest. That one right there.
Yeah. Yours has a little more mass than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He was that one was a trip, man.
I believe it.
All I do is saddle hunt. Have you ever hunted in a saddle?
Haven't yet. Mainly just tree stand so far. I'm planning on getting a saddle this year.
Yeah,
Excited
dude.
for it. Yeah. Finally have the time. Yeah.
If you ever get a Facebook,
Oh, I will. Yeah.
then Mocan Saddle Hunters, we're putting on an event June 13th this year.
Okay.
And we haven't decided for sure the location. We got a couple places in mind. But Buzzard Roost Saddles is coming up to join us, and we'll have some giveaways and stuff. And
Okay.
it's just a good time to try different saddles, different platforms, different climbing methods before you go spending money and on stuff you don't even know if you're going to like this particular saddle or that particular saddle.
Yeah.
And I started that because I got tired. I'm a gear junkie, but I was buying every saddle I could get my hands on, platforms and this, and I thought, man, why don't we put a group together and we'll have a meetup and you bring your gear, I'll bring my gear. You can try my stuff, I'll try your stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely a good opportunity to try some stuff out, man. And it's a good time for sure.
I'll put that on my calendar
yeah,
for sure.
definitely. And I'll keep you posted on it.
Awesome.
Since you don't have Facebook, and we'll try to keep you updated on it and whatnot.
Absolutely.
It's a good
Thank
time.
you.
But so I was saddle hunting, and the one thing I like about saddle hunting is that I can always keep the tree in between me and the deer most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually hunted a double man ladder stand since I've been saddle hunting. And I felt so exposed. I was out in front of the tree. You know, the deer were coming up on my right. I couldn't move because I was going to get busted because there wasn't much coverage. And maybe there was better trees. But I think for the most part, when you're sitting in front of a tree, that's the way it is. And so after that day, I sold every hang-on, every ladder stand. I was like, I'm done. All I do is going to saddle hunt.
Liquidate it.
So that guy, that morning, he had... that morning, first light, I had like 8 bucks around me. Couple really nice ones, several younger ones, but I couldn't move because they were all around me. I had them on this side, that side. I thought, if I move, I'm going to get busted. So I basically just let them all go.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, did I just screw up? That is horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kept thinking, man, I should have shot one. I should have tried. I could have got away with it. Maybe I could have. Maybe, you never know.
Yeah.
Well, about an hour later, my thought was I was hoping one of them would come back through. Well, then I hear something off onto this side of the tree, and I look, and here he comes walking. And I was like, oh, man, he's bigger than the ones that were there. And so, like I said, I'm behind the tree, and he come in like this. And as soon as he got here, I drew back, and then as he walked on this side of the tree, I knew where he was going to come out at. And so I just kind of spun around the tree like this, and he stepped right in there and smoked him, man.
Getting pre-drawn, it works.
Yeah, dude. That's one of the biggest things I love about saddle hunting is I can be on this side of the tree. And a lot of the trees I hunt are bigger trees anyway, so that helps too, you know.
Yeah.
But that was one of my greatest deer I've killed, where I was just like, everything just came together and it was just perfect. You know what I'm saying?
He's a real dandy for sure as well.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. But So that was in 2020.
That was in 2020. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now you was telling me about a deer you had some history with.
There was one. Yeah.
Do you want to dive off into that one?
Sure. Big 10-pointer. This was on private land here, and so this was the property that I run cameras on. And he ended up getting in a fight with a deer that I had 3 years of history with. Yeah.
Oh wow. So you had this
mhm.
deer got in a fight with a deer that you had 3 years of history with.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I was out there hunting this deer I had 3 years of history with. Well, mid-October, I started getting pictures of this buck, and he was just bigger. And so I kind of chose him a little bit, even though I think this deer was 5.5, and the deer I was hunting was like 6 or 7.5. Yeah. And so let's see here. What day was it I went in there first? I think it was November, either 16th or 17th. I went and hunted it first. Had a south wind. It's a river bottom property with it's kind of like a river, and then you've got cottonwoods, and then a brush hogged lane, and then on the other side of that brush hogged lane is a swamp. So there's like great blue herons and geese and the whole 9 yards, bunch of greenhead mallards in there, and that's kind of where these deer live at, is in that swamp. They've all got mud up to on their hooves and everything. I can hear them splashing in there in the early mornings. It's cool. Yeah, but so mid-October, I get a picture of this buck and just started getting him in all the corners of the property, and I knew, okay, he's circulating it quite a bit. Yeah, he's going through there, and pretty much, I just since I started getting more pictures of him, I stopped getting pictures of the 7.5-year-old, and started getting pictures of him, and I just knew if I put in the time, I was going to eventually catch up to him. I just didn't have the right wind to get where I knew he was at, is really what it was. So I think I hunted 3 days straight, 3 south winds in a row, with passed on multiple bucks waiting for him. And then got that north wind, got in there. So then my wind is going into the river pretty much. And so I used the river as access to get on the backside of everything, have the north wind blow my wind, over the river and to the next property on the other side. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And I got in there, and this wasn't the day I killed him, but the day before I killed him, I had what I think was the best hunt of my life.
No kidding.
Yeah. Edge of my seat, pulled my rifle up multiple times with multiple shooters. I was on the ground, didn't have a stand in this exact spot yet. But yeah, I think I saw 15 racked bucks
Jiminy Christmas.
in that day. Yeah. And just saw so many deer, so many 2.5 and 3.5-year-old bucks just sparring and fighting and chasing. It was like a rut fest. It was like I was in a buck nest. It was wild. I couldn't believe it. And so the deer on this property, they're in the timber in the mornings, and then they're going out to the main, big fields at night. And there's, it's like a cornfield that's 2 miles long. So they go out there and they just start running and chasing at night. And so I was sitting there for an all-day sit that day. Pulled my rifle up on multiple big deer, but didn't have a clean shot through the timber on the ground. After this year, that's when I went in and put in a permanent hang on in there. So then, and I went in, trimmed lanes. So then I didn't have that same problem.
Yep.
Went in, it was just so far away. It's like a 2-mile walk. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. to get to this spot. Yeah. But so that day concluded, I think I saw all those deer all the way until like 1 or 2 p.m. And then once that evening hit, I didn't see anything. So then I backed out of there and then woke up the same morning with the same wind and went all the way back in there again. I got a picture that second morning of the buck of the 7.5-year-old of him walking away right when I sat down, all the way in there. I had a camera that was probably like 70 yards from there, and
And you got a picture.
I got
of
a
him.
picture of him 70 yards in the dark in front of me. Yeah, and so I was, oh man,
You're
here we
hyped.
go. I saw all those 15 bucks the day before, but not him.
Mm-hmm.
And and that was the 7.5-year-old, but there was the bigger 10-pointer that I wanted too. And so, believe it or not, so I'm sitting there, and all the way until 9:30 a.m. I didn't see a single deer. I had that picture of that buck before I got light,
And that was
and
it.
I didn't see a single deer. And then all of a sudden, so pretty much I have heavy bedding to my left and right, and I'm hunting behind a duck pond. And so behind that duck pond, it changes the trees a little bit. It's cottonwoods in front of me instead of like thick brush, like swamp thick brush and stuff that you can't walk through. So it's like a little transition there. It's some edge, and they cross that. It's a funnel going from bedding area to bedding area is what it is. I could draw it better. It's hard to, of course, describe it, but he came from my right. He came from the direction I came in from, but I'd make sure I'm just super close to that river the whole way in there, so then he doesn't see my head walking when he's, looking towards the river or anything. And so I hear all this crashing and just chaos ensuing, and for a while, and so my attention's looking that way, and I just see this deer he's got a really tall G3. It's probably 12 inches long. It's really big G3, and a lot of mass. He's, not exactly too wide, but, pretty tall and a lot of mass, and so, saw him running, and he's chasing this doe, and it's got to be a hot doe. There's 3 other bucks behind her. They're all, like little bucks. All of them are except him. And so this doe, she takes this trail like around, it's like how do I describe this? You've got the river here, and then like a little tributary right here, but it's like a little creek.
Yeah.
And so it's a steep drop off here, but that funnels them around that steep drop off to where they can cross better to walk over this way, pretty much. And I was sitting right here for that crossing. And so he's standing at the top of that, watching as this doe runs down here and then has these bucks behind him. And he's just kind of like,
You can
stopped.
see him at this point.
Oh yeah. He's shooting distance.
Yeah.
And so, but it's all happening so fast. I'm like slowly moving up like this. But when he does that, the doe just starts getting insanely close to me. Like, I mean, running right up to me. And he jumped clean across, like right up over this creek. But it had to have been 10 feet up that he just jumped straight up. Saw his whole white belly. It was crazy.
I bet you were tripping at this point.
Oh,
like,
man.
what in the world
like,
is
it's
happening?
like rock and roll was playing in my head.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make this up. And now he's charging me. Now the doe gets spooked because now she's so close to me. She's spooked by me, but he doesn't care because the doe is right there.
Yeah.
And so he just runs right up to me, and I just get on him like this, and he just stops and turns and bolts, and I let his shoulder and dropped him.
Nice.
Just like that, 10 yards.
Heck yeah,
it
dude.
crazy.
That's a crazy story, man.
Yeah.
Having them come up on you like that,
Yeah.
that'll get your heart a beating quick.
But that buck, there was 2 sits before that. I heard a bunch of rattling, and I thought it was the neighbors hunting.
Yeah.
Well, it was him and this, what I think was the 7.5-year-old fighting on the horizon line right at last light.
What a picture.
I could just tell that it was them.
Yeah.
And those were really the only bucks that I had on camera, like that were of some age. And so, I was like, okay, that's probably them.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones battling it out in there right now. And I thought about, I just kind of stopped and was gazing at them. I didn't even really think to like go chase them. I think I had like 10 minutes of light left, but I just kind of got the binoculars out and just started watching them. And it was great. Yeah. But they ended up running down towards the river, you know, kind of where I ended up killing him at. And so I was just like, well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But
And you smoked him.
3 days later, I shot him at 10 yards.
Heck yeah, dude.
I can't describe having something to charge you like
Oh
that
my goodness.
on the ground, head level. Like, yeah, I heard his snorts, his breathing, his grunts, because tending
You talk about
grunts.
intimate.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
You could smell him.
I was shaking.
Yeah.
Very much shaking. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's enough to get your adrenaline going for sure.
But yeah, that's what the rut can do.
Yeah, for sure. You ain't lying. That rut, I've seen some crazy action during the rut. This one particular time, I was up in a tree and I had a doe come about 30, 40 yards out in front of me. She's running.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, And at this point, I'm trying to decide, is the rut on, is the rut not on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a couple minutes later, here comes a buck, hot on her trail.
It is on.
And then another buck. And then another buck. There was 3 bucks chasing this doe.
Yeah.
Crazy. So they went that way, which would be off to the northwest. And about an hour later, they come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up watching these deer all day. I had already shot a buck, so I didn't get to get a shot at one.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But it was just a crazy the way everything happened. They ended up going back around me, and then all of a sudden I look, and off to my right, there's a buck, not 20 yards from my tree. And then a little bit past him, about another probably 15 yards past him, is another buck. And they're all looking at this direction, which would be to the southwest. And I'm like, what are they looking at? Well, the third buck, he was bigger than those two. He was standing next to the doe that was laying down.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what is happening? These two are standing. I'd never seen this in my life, but these two are within, if you combine them both, they're within 30, 35 yards of me. And they're watching this buck. Well, he starts making his way towards them. Well, the closer he'd get to them, they'd take off. And then he'd come after this other one, and he'd take off. And then he'd go back to the doe. Well, then a few minutes later, here they come, right back to the same spot. And this happened 2 or 3 times. And I was like, what in the world are they doing? Well, then he was at the doe, and then all of a sudden, these two that were closest to me, they turned and ran. And I'm like, what is happening? He's still over he's not like he was chasing him.
Yeah.
Well, I heard a twig break, and I looked. There was even a bigger buck that was coming in. And by this point, the doe gets up, and these two are getting closer and closer. These other 2 bucks ran off.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these two just go at it.
Just
But I mean,
crazy.
I've watched a lot of deer spar, you know, out in the wild and whatnot. I'd never seen bucks just fight like they're
To the
trying to
death.
kill the
Yeah.
other buck. You know what I'm saying? And they ended up coming right by my tree, fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they probably went another 30 yards past me fighting, and then all of a sudden they broke up and took off. Craziest thing I'd ever seen, man. I'd never seen another rut deal like that.
And you
And I-
couldn't shoot him because
I
you were
couldn't
tagged
shoot him.
out.
I didn't
You were
have a
tagged
tag.
out already. Yeah.
And it's a good thing because I had my bow in my hand, and because I was like, man, this is a doe's good. That doe gonna come down here too. I'll take her out if I need to.
Yeah.
Well, but it was just a buck, so no, I didn't get a shot at him.
Yeah.
But boy, that'd have been something if I could have. Especially if I could have smoked them both.
Yeah.
That'd have been great.
And now I see what you mean by what you said. Yeah, if you were able to end your season right there, shoot both of them
Yeah, I'd
right
have
there
took,
like
took
that.
them both right then. You know what I mean? But
That'd be like a picture.
yeah, but you can't. So it kept me hunting, and so that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, man, you seem to have some pretty good success when you go into these properties. What's just one of the first things you look for when you're at a new property or where you're just trying to decide where you're going to set up? Like, what's one of the things you look for the most?
I want to find, of course, you hear this a lot where people aren't, and I look really hard for overlooked spots on Onyx, e-scouting, but I also look on the roads and I kind of scout. I'll just go drive parking lots and I'll try to, kind of recognize what trucks are going where and try to not go there. And kind of just go in, boots on the ground, looking for sign, looking for scrapes and rubs. I found that on public, a lot of the kind of the bottoms at the bottom of ridges, a lot of that's nocturnal movement is what I found, and then a lot of those ridge tops in the rut. That's kind of where they head to. It's kind of right there. That's where a lot of the acorn crop is.
Yeah.
In a lot of the northern Missouri spots, but I'm kind of looking for just I guess no stands.
Yeah.
But I have a philosophy. I've always thought to kind of go in and set a stand, and that kind of might detract from like less out of state pressure. Someone that is boots on the ground scouting it for the first time. They see a stand, they may think, oh well, someone's been hunting this a bunch. Maybe I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Or they might think this might be a good spot. There's a stand here.
Or they're gonna take it. Yes.
You're not lying about that.
You better lock it down.
Yeah.
And they'll still go get some cutters and cut it down.
I've had
anyway.
it happen. Twice I've had it happen.
Yeah.
Chained up, locked up, come to get in my stand and it's gone, and I find pieces where they've cut the chain.
Where they cut it off.
That's basically why I got into mobile hunting and saddle hunting specifically, because whatever I take in the woods with me, it leaves with me. Ain't nobody taking my stuff again. You know what I'm saying?
And it's likely the local that lives down the road too.
Yeah.
I found that too. Yeah.
It's just sorry. I'm like, I don't I don't like liars and I don't like thieves.
Me neither.
I just don't. I don't see what the point of either one of them is. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole nother.
That's a whole
deal,
conversation,
but,
of course. Yeah, but I'm looking for that. Kind of looking for on access paths. If I can find one that doesn't have e-bike tracks and doesn't have boot tracks, because I'll tell you, e-bikes on Missouri Public, a lot of them have a lot of trail systems through them. And if you've got an e-bike, you have better chances for sure. You can get a lot of distance done quick.
Yeah.
But that also kind of makes wherever it's like a trail system is going through the whole property, it's hard to find a spot that's untouched, because you can hunt every timber draw from every angle, every access point. You can just hop on an e-bike, 2.5 miles, no problem. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And
quick.
So, yeah, and quick. Or you have a long hike, either one or the other. So, and that's the plan. That's really what I do. I think I'd say I also look for just kind of historical spots. I'll look at spots I've seen deer at certain times of the year in the past, and I'll go there the next year at the same time. I think that's a practice I follow a lot, and I see if the same things are happening again the second year. Sometimes it'll be different in there. Sometimes maybe they did a burn. Maybe they cut down a bunch of brush in a certain area, and then now it's different, or whatever it may be. So you kind of have to go in there and check it out again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, public land can change every year with what's planted where and stuff too.
100%.
But so that. What else? What else do I do?
I always look. I guess when I go in, I always look for food, acorns and whatnot. And,
acorns,
basically, I try to find the acorns. I try to find the bedding, and then I try to get in between those two spots if I can.
Yep.
A lot of times that's what I look for, and that'll change. It may be one way the beginning of the season, but by the time you start getting into late October, November, even into December, then that changes too. So.
Yeah,
you got to kind of pay attention to what they're doing, and like you said, especially if it's a spot you've hunted multiple times, then you can get a really good idea of how it's working out there.
Yeah, seeing what trails they're taking, what directions they're going, on what wind direction, all those things. I pay attention to that on cameras as well. On private is okay if it's a weird wind. Oh, it's an east wind today, and then I get a picture of him walking a certain direction. 2 weeks later, I notice it's an east wind. He's in the same spot. Okay, if it's an east wind and I'm hunting there, I'm gonna go there. Yeah,
I've got a spot that that the wind blows straight to him.
Yeah,
But for whatever reason, whenever the wind, that's a south. That particular spot, I like it's a southwest wind. Either one of those, south or southwest winds. I'm hunting this spot every time for sure because I've had my best luck in those spots when that wind's like that.
Yep.
And most of the time, if I don't, I may not shoot one every time, but I see some good deer there every time.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, threading the needle, having it 45 degrees you give him a little bit of wind, a little bit in his face. You just got to kind of hope that your wind misses him.
That's right.
I don't know if you use scent control or not, but
I try my best. Sometimes I say I'm overboard.
Yeah.
I wash my stuff in scent-free soap. I usually put it in a tub, and sometimes I've put corn in that tub before. That's a good
idea.
I've put like cedar wood in there. I've put pines. I have to do different things, and but if I hunt today and I'm gonna hunt tomorrow, when I get home tonight, I'm washing my clothes.
You're washing them. Yeah.
And every time, my wife will be like, "Why are you washing your clothes so much?" And I'm like, I don't even know if it works, but it makes me more confident.
Yep.
It makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. So I do it every time.
Yep.
And that's my regimen. And so when I get up in the morning, I take a shower and I use scent-free soap and all that stuff. And then when I get to my spot, I get dressed and I pull my stuff out of my bucket and whatnot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Get dressed,
Whole
and I go into the woods. So. I hope it works. I've been pretty successful, so I like to think it works, but who knows?
I think it can make a difference. We know it does take a lot of the scent molecules out. I think it's not 100%. I think they still could catch your wind, but I think you've got less going downwind. I think a lot of it is, or I've heard it's like your face, hair holds a lot of scent, breath,
beards,
beards,
your mouth.
Yeah,
oh
mouth,
my God!
yeah.
I mean that's the biggest release of scent that you have.
And they can smell it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've always thought, have we not come up with a way to disguise that yet? I don't think you can.
Yeah,
might gargle with some dough pee or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, I seen a meme. It's actually been a couple years ago, I think, but the guy was putting dough pee into his vape or something and smoking.
Oh, that's now. Yeah. Good luck to that.
I ain't doing it. I ain't trying.
I'm not doing that either. That's the first for me. I think he's trying to be a deer.
Yeah, for sure. Something's crazy. Yeah. But Quinn, man, it's been great talking to you, dude.
It's been great as well, Troy.
It's great to meet you at Cabela's and whatnot. And,
yeah.
We're neighbors. I look forward to developing a friendship. Maybe we can hunt together sometime.
Absolutely, we could figure that out.
Put
for
some deer down or whatever, and we'll get you back on here, man.
Maybe put some freezer queens down somewhere.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm down for it. So
absolutely,
definitely appreciate it. Man, everybody watching, thanks for your time. I hope we were entertaining for you, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I'd ask you to do that, please. Just trying to grow a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Give them a follow. Give them a subscribe.
Yep, thanks. Yeah. And who's the Tactical Outdoors?
And then check out Tactical Approach Outdoors, LLC. Yep.
Yeah. That's it. I kind of been looking at them the last few days since I met you. And definitely got some people on there I want to talk to.
Land management, some consulting. If you got questions, you want to learn something about public land, private land, they're a good source for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for that tip, man. I appreciate it.
But
as always, blend better, hunt harder.
Every season brings us back for more. It's blood trails and bucktails round the fire where the whiskey sails. Every hunt's a story, every shot's a chance. What's your story?